OCD is actually PTSD. Now, I know that's not what you've been told. You've been told it's a brain chemistry issue, a malfunction, something you manage, not something you heal. That is dead wrong. And I think part of you already knows that. Today, I'm going to show you why and what the evidence actually says. Hi, I'm John Hawkins Jr. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and co-founder of Hawkins Counseling Center in Boynton Beach, Florida. I've been working with OCD and trauma and PTSD for almost 2 decades. And in every single OCD case, every one, I've found a part of the person's personality that's protecting something else. That's not a coincidence, that's a pattern. Now, you may have been told that OCD is a biological condition, a brain chemistry issue. And I want to address that directly. Yes, brain scans can show evidence of overactivity in certain brain regions of somebody with OCD. What they cannot tell you is why that area is overactive. We live in a cause and effect universe. The scan shows you where, but it doesn't show you why. And the science on a chemical imbalance as an explanation for OCD is far weaker than most people realize. It's too simplistic. Now, let me say I'm not opposed to medications or supplements. Sometimes they can help people stabilize while we do deeper work. But stabilizing the symptoms is not the same as resolving the symptoms. Here's what most people misunderstand about trauma. Trauma is not defined by what happened to you. It's defined by what had to split off inside of your brain neurologically as a result of what happened to you. Trauma is intrapsychic. At some point in your history, something overwhelmed your nervous system, energetically or emotionally. It was too much to process, so it had to get dissociated and split off, so you could keep functioning. And many of these things you would probably not call a trauma yourself. It doesn't matter what happened in the external environment. What matters is what your nervous system couldn't manage. It was too much. Something had to split off, and that's what trauma is. And that split off part needed protection. So here's how OCD enters the picture. When something gets dissociated or split off, another part of the personality structure develops to keep it suppressed, to make sure that wounded part doesn't flood your nervous system or get injured in a similar way in the future. The part of you that's doing the protection is the one that's generating the OCD symptoms. The obsessions, the compulsions, the rituals, the checking, all of it in the service of keeping the wounded part suppressed and safe. That is why I say OCD is actually a resource for PTSD, not a separate condition that occurs with trauma. It's the same phenomenon, 2 names, 1 root. I don't spend any time trying to reassure my clients that their fears, their things they're obsessed about can't come true. Whatever the presenting form of the OCD du jour is, that only tends to reinforce it. As quickly as possible, I'm trying to identify what's the ultimate fear, the place where there's no more and then what would happen. Because whatever that ultimate fear is, that's what the part that's holding the trauma is holding. Let me give you an example of what this actually looks like. I had a client who had OCD worrying around actually harming someone. He was terrified he would hurt someone without meaning to. He had been through ERP twice. Both times it helped a little bit, and each time it came back. When I asked him, what's your ultimate fear here? What would happen if the thing that you fear actually occurred? We went through several layers, and we eventually got to he would feel fundamentally bad, unlovable, abandoned. When that landed, he went quiet. And then he said, I've always felt that way, like there's something inherently bad about me. The OCD wasn't random. It was protecting a part of him since childhood that believed he was fundamentally bad. When we worked with that part, when it finally got to heal, the OCD part didn't need to work so hard anymore to protect him from that. So if you've been told that your OCD is a brain chemistry issue, a neurological issue, ask what's causing these issues. If you've been told to just manage it or try not to give in to the compulsions, you haven't been told the whole story. And if you tried ERP and felt like you failed at it, you didn't fail. It failed to identify and address what's actually causing your OCD. Yes, OCD is resolvable. When the part your OCD has been protecting finally gets to heal, the OCD becomes unnecessary. And that part, the OCD part, will gladly transition to a more updated adaptive role in your life. I know that can be extremely hard, if not impossible to believe, but I have witnessed it hundreds of times in every case. Because in my experience, the people that found this video have been carrying this for a very long time, often since early childhood. And they already knew something wasn't right about all these different approaches that people have advocated, the gold standard to try to heal and resolve your OCD. We offer a free consultation. The link is in the bio. I'm John Hawkins Jr. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.